Hi there, I'm Vincent Boss and I provide dating and self-improvement advice. And in today's podcast, we're going to be discussing, will my ex miss me? So before we get into the podcast, I just want to let you know about my website, dateme.tips. That's www.dateme.tips. Do you need help trying to save your crumbling relationship? Would you like advice on how to try and get your ex back? Or maybe you need an action plan on how to try and get a girlfriend or boyfriend. I provide email coaching on all of these subjects and can help your specific situation. Visit my website dateme.tips to find out more details. That's www.dateme.tips. You will also find on my site the books that I've written, my clothing range, and other information. So now let's get back into today's podcast, and today we are discussing, will my ex miss me? So if you've been dumped and you want to try to get your ex back, one of the biggest questions you will have in your mind is, will my ex miss me? And I'm here to tell you that in most instances, yes, your ex will miss you even though they dumped you. So I thought I would tell you 3 reasons in today's podcast why it is the case that your ex will miss you in most instances even though they dumped you. So let's get straight into number 1. And number 1 is you were in a relationship and you would have had some good memories together. So despite the fact the relationship has ended, despite the fact that your ex has dumped you, the fact that you were in a relationship suggests that you did at least have some good times between you at some stage. So if you was going through the dating period and then you kind of got serious and you got in a relationship, then that shows that you, even at that very early stage, was having enough good time together to get into a relationship. And the longer this went on, whether it was months, years, decades, obviously you're going to have built up more good memories. So when we're asking the question, will my ex miss me? If you have created a lot of good memories together, then even though it has ended on a sour note, even though it has ended because they've dumped you, because obviously something wasn't right in their mind regarding the relationship, that doesn't get rid of the past. That doesn't get rid of the good memories that you created together. And there is a very good chance that through various triggers and thought patterns, your ex will think about you, will think about those memories, and will quite possibly miss you because of those memories that you created together. So now let's move into point number 2. And that is, we miss people that we didn't love, so we will definitely miss people that we once did love. So to break this point down, you need to consider your own thoughts, and you need to look into your own past and think of people that you miss. And these people have got to be people that you miss but you didn't actually love. And I think the best way to do this is to think back to your school days. Think back to the people you knew at school, and it's quite probable that you will start to miss some of these people. Probably people who was like your best friends at school, people you spent a lot of time with, but you never really loved them. Maybe you only saw them during school time. Maybe you never even socialised, but you had a lot of good time when you was at school together. Or maybe your first job, maybe some of your ex-colleagues, people that you didn't love, but you can remember, you can think back, and you do miss them. You kind of wonder, I wonder what they're up to now. I wonder how life has panned out for them. And this showcases that we miss people that we didn't love, okay? So this should answer the question to you that, of course, we will definitely miss people that we once did love. So your ex has dumped you and they're not going to be loving you right now. That's the fact of life. They've dumped you, the relationship is over. However, they once did love you. So if you can consider the facts that you can miss people that you never loved, then it should become clearer in your mind that your ex will definitely miss you when they think of certain things because they once did love you. So if you can remember people that you never even loved and you start to miss them in your thoughts, then that should show you that your ex will definitely miss you at certain times because they once did love you, and that's a much more powerful emotion. You know, the thoughts you have with your old school friends or your old work colleagues, they're nowhere near going to be as powerful as the feelings that your ex once had for you. And yet you can remember your school friends, your ex-colleagues very fondly, you can miss them. So that should now make you realise that your ex will definitely miss you in most instances, because you had that bond together, you had that love between you, and hence is a very strong emotion, and you spent a lot of time together. So yes, that is another reason why the likelihood is your ex will miss you. So now let's move into point number 3, and this is the final point I'm going to be doing in today's podcast in answering the question, will my ex miss me? And that is, you will always have an important role in the story of your ex. So when we think of a story of our own life, you can really start to forget almost how big and broad the amount of people are we've mixed with, and all of the different tales we can speak of, all the different stories. This is the story of our life, and your ex has their own story of their life. Now, depending how long you was together, you are going to be a very important person in their life. Even if you was together only a few months, if you loved each other, if you was in a relationship, they are always going to remember you. Now, of course, if this is actually years together, if you was together even longer than that, if it was decades, then that is a large, huge portion of their life. You have an important role in the story of your ex, and the things that they would have shared with you in particular. You're probably one of very few people, if not the only person, who knows certain things about your ex. You shared experiences together that only you and your ex shared. You know, these are going to be unique experiences that was just with you two. And there are, of course, going to be moments in your ex's mind where they look back on those memories, when they realise that there are very few people who know this about them or that about them. There are very few people who they've shared similar experiences with to what you did. And quite probably there's experiences they've shared with no one else. So when they look at the story of their own life, when they consider the places they've been, the things they've done, the laughs they've had, the magic that they've had with a connection, you know, you are a very important person in their life. You starred a very important role in the story of your ex's life. So for that reason, you should understand that, of course, in most instances, your ex will miss you, because you're kind of a part of them. You're part of their story. That doesn't get deleted just because that they dumped you. You're still there. So you need to remember all of these things and realise that your ex, in most instances, will miss you because of all of these 3 points that I've mentioned today. Now, if you want to try to get your ex back, then the first thing I suggest you do is to implement the no contact rule. And there are various different versions of a no contact rule that you can find online. I believe that my version of the no contact rule gives you the best possible chance of trying to get your ex back. So I suggest that you subscribe to my podcasts so that you can familiarise yourself with my version of a no contact rule and set yourself on the way of hopefully one day getting your ex back. There is no 100% guaranteed way to get your ex back, but if you do everything right, then you stand an excellent chance of one day hearing from them again.